Hey Majid, hey Phil, good to see you. Right now I'm practicing some arpeggios. The one that always trips me up is this D flat, because it's so similar to the F minor chord, shape-wise, on this F-low pygmy. So yeah, I'm just getting to know the shapes a little bit better and practicing some doubles. I'm going to throw in some different chords now. And I'm going to refer to my notes because I still don't know this instrument off by heart. I've had it for months and I've still not properly gotten to know it. So there we go. F, G. What are my notes? Oh, that's an A flat, that's why. Yeah, the B flat, D flat is the only D flat I have. Really? No, I don't have an EMR 19. I did play one the other day though. I had one in the studio here from Meridian. I would love one because I have a ridiculous need for handpans. I'm getting at some point, I don't know when, I'm getting an A2 Dorian, which is like a La Sirena scale, same notes as a La Sirena scale. The only difference for this one being that the layout is going to be the same layout as a D curd. So it works in the same way as a curd layout. So you've got the center tone is the root, and then it jumps to the fifth, and then the layout is all the same as a curd, which I've not seen done before on Dorians. So that's exciting. And that scale goes perfectly, note for note with Iamara. So they'd be really good jamming pans for like having two different feels, but they're actually the same set of notes because they're just laid out differently. And the E is obviously a lot higher. They also both happen to be the exact same notes, just different layout as C Aegean. So like my dream collection for like jamming with friends, completely unnecessary for me as a player, because once you've got one of those set 3 instruments, you can do what you can do on any of them. So there's no point in buying repeat pans and different layouts really. But especially for me in terms of songwriting and singing. But if I had 2 other friends who would come over to the studio, or if I travel with a couple of pans or whatever, they can jam really nicely together. So that's a dream for the future. But that's a dream for when I have a car and can take multiple handpans, and have a studio big enough to store more handpans, which is probably not going to happen for a little while. But yeah. Ooh, you're getting an EMR in November. It's exciting. Hopefully I'll have my Dorian by then as well. We can jam. And it's coming from Tim Tom of Celestial Sounds. Rosie and I both had a go at making our pans together. She made a C major and I made an A Dorian, and Tim's just finishing them off. There's just been a little bit of a hitch with Rosie's is perfect and fine. Mine's not stabilizing in the way that he'd hoped. I don't know if that's my fault or if that's just the nature of a ridiculous A2 ding. Celestial Sound is based in Australia. He is kind of the Australian handpan builder, basically. That's who we stayed with for a month while we were out there. Oof. C. E flat's got what? G. E flat. Okay. Whoops. Thank you. Lord of the Rings was fun. We have another one coming out at some point once I've edited it. Misty Mountain. It's going to come on my channel. Yeah. Do you do one-to-one lesson online live? If you do, how much has done? Cool. Yes, I do live one-to-ones. I have a mailing list. I don't do regular live one-to-ones because it's just impossible, because I'm like flitting between here and London all the time, flitting between here and somewhere else in Europe or America or Australia, apparently, all the time. So I do have a mailing list. It's on the bottom of my website that you can subscribe to it. And then every now and then when I have a little like week or a couple of weeks where I'm at home, I send out my calendar basically, and you can just pick a date or a few dates. Some people do like 3 lessons in a week, which is wild, or just 1. And then you can just kind of choose your time and everything's done. And then, yeah, and then we'll meet on Zoom. It's £50 an hour. But yeah, also happy to talk other options if cost is an issue as well. So yeah, no regular stuff at the moment, unfortunately, because I just can't. It's just impossible. But yeah, sign up to my mailing list and I will send you my calendar. And it's not a silly question. What did I miss? Hey, Hannah. Cool, thanks, Phil. I look forward to it. That's not what I wanted to do. Ah. Wendy, feels a good point to go from your first handpan with 8 notes to handpans with more notes on one handpan. I sometimes feel limited, and I do always feel I can improve more if I had more notes, more possibilities to try around. On the other hand, I feel as if I haven't spent enough time, such I haven't learned, practiced enough with my current simple handpan. Yeah, good point. I think when you start to feel limited, there's a really good sign that you're heading towards it being time to expand, but also it's time to start really trying to push the boundaries and get as much as you possibly can out of your instrument. There's so much that you can do with like a simple 8-note instrument. And I'm still learning. Like, this is my D curd. It is extended underneath, but I often just teach just with the top. And so even now, 10 years later, like I'm still learning new things about D curd and how I can get different beautiful melodies out of it. And it's the same with any handpan. So I challenge you to really try and push your borders. And when you feel yourself getting stuck in the same patterns, yes, watch tutorials, practice, look at online courses, etc., but also just take the time to really get to know your instrument a little bit better, like doing something like this, drawing out little chord diagrams, drawing where your notes are as well, just so you really understand what notes you've got. And then you can kind of start to Google things and look up what different keys you can be playing in and what different chord progressions you can find. You can just kind of Google top 10 pop chord progressions or something and find new harmonies and melodies that you haven't found before on your instrument that you've had for however long. I don't know how long you've had your instrument. But then once you start to feel, I think you need to be feeling comfortable around your scale, and you need to be feeling like you can very confidently and comfortably play what you want to hear on your own instrument. Once you're at that point and you've got good control over what you're doing, then it's time to start considering extended scales like this one. I have a video coming out in a couple of weeks on how to play extended scales, because I've never done one before, believe it or not. So yeah, I think, it's now becoming the norm to have extended handpan scales, but there's something really beautiful and pure about the simpler pans. So they all have their strengths and their weaknesses. But I wouldn't recommend going crazy and extending an instrument like crazy, but something like this with 2 mutants and 2 bottom notes, like, so much you can do, and not too much, like, it's not too overwhelming. There isn't too much to learn. That being said, as you can see, as I'm jamming, I still don't quite know where all my notes are. I've had this one for a few months. I'm only just now really getting to know it. But I have another extended scale here. This is a pygmy, C-sharp pygmy. Again, it looks very similar on the top, 2 mutants, but then on the bottom, it's got a bit more going on than the other pan. It's got 6 notes on the bottom here, which means it's a little bit more complex, but just gives me a little bit more range. And it's extended in a way. You saw me playing this F-low pygmy just now, and I was borrowing a note here from my D curd. I had to do that because if I want to play the full F minor scale, then I need an extension, because the F-low pygmy and the low pygmy scale in general is a pentatonic scale. It only has 5 notes with the scale. A full scale has 7 notes. Low pygmies only have 5. For the most part, when they are extended with bass notes, they're often extended and in a way that adds an extra note. So you've actually got 6 notes of the scale. But it doesn't always extend fully to have 7 notes of the scale. Some people do make that. Sorry about all the noise. My window is open. And there is a lot of building work. So I had to borrow a note. This, however, is a pygmy, which is different to a low pygmy. And it's been extended in such a way that I've got all of the notes of the scale. So I don't need to borrow any notes. So that's super helpful. Cool. Ah, yes, there it is, my Alaya. I don't have a D curd 19. That's amazing, though. Rosie has a Decode 19. It's incredible. I was playing it yesterday at the park in London. This one's the Pygmy. Phil asks, do you do any classes up Birmingham way? At the moment, no. But if someone wants to bring me over to host a workshop, that's a possibility. The only issue is with handpans. I don't have a car at the minute, so I can't transport a set of instruments. That is the dream one day. I just can't afford to do that yet. But eventually, when making music is lucrative enough, I'll be able to buy a car and I'll be able to take workshops anywhere I want to, which is the dream. My dream, well, no, I'm not going to share the dream. I'm not going to share the dream because it's a joint dream. I don't want to share without other people's permission. But yeah, there is the potential for further workshops in the years to come, but not for a little while yet. All right, question about recording setup. Do you just record from the front the cameras, or do you have set up overhead mic? Yeah, so sometimes I record with one of these either side of me. So I permanently have, the other one is on the other side of the room, 2 of these mics set up. I have everything always plugged in. I've got a little, brain's not working, audio interface here on my desk. So these are Octava MK12s. So these are good for if I'm recording like music for an album or whatever. But when I'm filming YouTube videos, I actually have a mic right here. So it's kind of pointed when I'm sitting here to film videos. It's like just above my head height. So it's just out of shot of the camera. And then it's pointing more towards my voice than it is my instrument, because the instrument's quite full, quite loud. So when I'm filming YouTube videos, it's kind of just, I found that to be the perfect placement, and I can just use one microphone and it works great. So I sit with it directly in front of me at this angle. Sometimes I bring in the other 2. I've also got a bass mic that I use for recording. And then that means that individually, separately, I can have the 2 angles, and it's not going to affect the sound. That's what I do. Cool. Nice one, Phil. Playing some druid and spiritual festivals. Yeah, that's the ultimate goal, right? Is to take Handpan out of Handpan festivals and into the wider festival circuit, starting with spiritual, conscious living type communities, and then into the mainstream. And then who knows then where the development of the instrument will go once it's exciting and terrifying once the industry gets its hands on this instrument. But it's only 24 years old, so it's going in so many new places, like even just the last 5 years. 5 years ago, mutants and extended scales were so rare, and now it's the norm. So imagine where we're going to be in 5 years from now, and what that's going to look like as Handpan gets more popular. It's exciting. Good on you for taking it to festivals. Alrighty. Pick me. 5. Comments to catch up on. Hi, everybody. Hi, new people just arriving. Hi, Whispering Fairy from Australia. Hi, Tyrone from Africa. Hi, Al, who is 5'2". I have a problem balancing. Yeah. My husband is 5'6" and has no problems. Will I have to use a stand? Yeah, I'm 5'5", and I just about manage. Am I 5'5"? I think I am. I would recommend a stand. I think just the best way to play is in whatever is the most comfortable position for you. You can quite easily, quite cheaply get hold of snare stands. They're really good, especially if you don't have bottom notes. If you do, you just have to be careful with where you place it. And what I recommend is that you bring your stand kind of as close to you as possible between your legs so that it can sit still very close to your body, not quite touching your belly, but very, very close. That way you're going to be able to get the reach. Another option is a standing stand and to play standing up. And then you can actually move your whole body to reach the notes rather than having to rely on, reaching, hunching shoulders. So I recommend just trying out a few different options. If you don't want to spend loads of money on stands, you can try out just like putting your handpan on a table or something and seeing how it feels, to play in different ways. Some people sit on the floor with it, with their legs kind of. Sometimes people sit in crossed leg position, or some people have like a part open cross leg so that the handpan is part on your lap, part rested on the floor or your foot, so that you can kind of cuddle it. I think if you're worried about it slipping off your legs, or you're worried about because your legs are short and your feet don't touch the ground without the top of your legs kind of being at a slope, and you're worried about dropping it or it sliding, and you're just going to have tension in your body, which is going to limit what you can do. So it's always best to play in the most comfortable position as possible. I recommend a stand, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Loads of people play with stands. Some of the best players in the world play with stands. So there you go. I'm going to give my handpans a clean because they're filthy. You get to hang out with me. Well, how exciting is that? By the way, if anybody is interested or feeling generous, a friend of mine, Yolanda, who is she's amazing. She is part of the Handpan Dojo team. She is keeping Handpan alive through sheer excitement and vibe. I just heard that she is not coming to the upcoming German Handpan festivals, Pangonia and Handpan Academy. That deeply saddened me. So I've put her PayPal link in the description of this live, and if you wanted to donate to help her get plane tickets to make it over, that would be massively appreciated. Just because like the festivals are just so much better with her in it, because she just volunteers and does everything. She just kind of runs around offering help everywhere, and just generally being an epic human, and just making Handpan life infinitely better. Sadly, finances are making that difficult. So if you're able to offer anything, then her PayPal is in the description of this video. Thanks. Or if you want to give me money to give to her, you can do that too. You can super chat here. Or we can just keep jamming. That's also a vibe. Let's jam together. I love the finish of these instruments, but the trouble is they just show any dirt. And like even here now, even like spraying it with cleaner and polishing it, like it's just not forgiving. Which is fine. You just have to take care of your instruments better than I do. Any questions or queries or desires or wants for the channel as well, video topics, please ask away while I'm doing this. I know this isn't the most riveting content in the world. But I'm glad that you're here. Alrighty. She's clean. She is filthy. Also, if you're watching this, I hope that you have your handpan with you too, and that you're practicing along with me, or taking care of your handpans along with me. That's what this space is for, basically, just to be accountability buddies and practice together. That's the goal. So that is the goal. Okay, handpan number 1, clean. Handpan number 2. One's favorite scale? Such a hard question. This one's a beauty. I've forgotten all of the chord shapes because I very rarely play it. It's so sad. This is such a beautiful instrument. It's a Desert Rose from Elia Handpan, which is like it's a C-sharp harmonic minor, but the layout is it's a G-sharp ding, so it's kind of like a G-sharp Hijaz. It's just fully extended to give it the full harmonic minor scale. Yeah, and it's beautiful. It just doesn't really lend itself to my general, like what I usually play and when I perform. And it's not great for tutorials because it's complicated. So I don't play it that much. But when I do, I really get carried away with the music. And I really enjoy it. So it's definitely a favorite. I'm really enjoying the F-Low Pygmy from Meridian Handpans right now. I think that's probably my current favorite, but a week ago my favorite was the C-sharp Pygmy from Elia. So it changes. And my go-to performance pans are just the D-curd and an E-sub. Both of the D-curd and E-subs that I play are from Meridian as well. I choose Meridian because I really like their sound, and I moved house to be close to them so I could work with them. And then, so now they're, the most accessible pan. So that's why I play Meridians. Thanks so much, Al. Where is it? Anyway, where was I? Filthy, honestly. Thank you so much for donating. I really appreciate it. Yolanda really appreciates it. I hope that we can make it happen and we can have a great time without any stress, any money stress. Okay, so I answered what's my favorite scale, kind of. I kind of avoided it. I think my favorite scale layout, though, is the chord. If I could have that in any key, what would it be? Probably A minor, which is really just like a really, I don't know, feels like a very elementary answer. But I just love the layout of the chord. It feels like the most ergonomic, just having all of your chords are just like 3 notes next to each other all the way around. Only a couple of them are a different shape, but at least they're the same shape as each other. I just really like it, and that's why I'm getting a Dorian scale with the same layout as the chord. Can you imagine if I just had all these different scales, but the layout was the same? So then you'd never have to relearn an instrument because the layout's you just know how it all works in relation to itself because you've done it before on your first instrument. Wouldn't that be a dream? It's just really difficult to do because obviously, depending on how high or low the scale is, how big the notes are going to be, there's only so many keys you can do a chord layout in. So that's the only issue. And also, it doesn't force you into more creative, at least with now recently, it's only recently I started exploring pygmy layouts, like the low pygmy and the pygmy, which are 2 completely different scales, by the way. Now that I'm exploring these layouts, the more I think, oh my goodness, these layouts are absolutely ridiculous. The chord shapes are just so difficult to play all notes at the same time because they're in very strange places. But what that does is that inspires really interesting harmony and interesting melodies because you end up playing what is ergonomically comfortable, but then sound-wise, auditory actually is a little bit different to what maybe you would play on a chord or what you'd play on a piano or what our ears are used to hearing in other music. So I like the layouts that really force your hands to go in different ways and your ear to go different ways. I find that really exciting. I don't know how this has gone so filthy. There you go. Yeah. Louis asking, do I oil them after cleaning? I don't oil my stainless steel instruments. I just don't like, I don't know, they can get a little bit sticky if you over oil them. And I think as long as I wipe them down regularly, because they're stainless steel, they're designed not to get rusty. There's still a possibility that they will get rusty because they're an alloy. But they're far less likely to get rusty than nitrided pans. So I don't bother oiling. Nitrided instruments I would though. Especially if I'm not using them often. They're just sitting on a shelf. They might get rusty especially when I was living up north by the sea. Living in very damp environments. I mean, England in general is just very wet. The air is very humid. So it is important to pay close attention to them if you're not playing with them for a long period of time. Keep an eye on them, make sure they're not rusting over. I made that mistake with, I have a RAV somewhere down here, which I might be selling, by the way. Anybody's interested in a RAV, an old RAV? It's got a bit of rust on it because I left it when I went traveling, and the top was fine, but the underside rusted because it was sat on a cushion that obviously had some moisture trapped underneath, and it did rust a little bit. But I managed to save it, and it's not carrying on rusting, and I oil it regularly, so it's fine now. But yeah, it's a Ravvast B-Ruz. If anybody's been after a Ravvast B-Ruz, could be yours. What else we got? Amazing. Glad to hear that you're jamming along. Whee! Hey, Darren. Thank you. I like my shirt too. It says "Compassion is Revolution." It's got a big picture of a handpan on it. Jim Lepresti designed this shirt, and you can find him on spiritpercussion.com. I think he has them stocked there. And he's US based, so if you're in America, the postage won't be crazy. If you're outside of America, the postage will be crazy. But Jim is a super sweet guy, and he sent me this shirt and a couple of other things as well. And I wear this one regularly. Yeah, it's great. I really like it. Oh, sweet. Baby V loved watching while having his bottle. That's so cute. Spring Fairies from Australia has an F sharp low pygmy. Lovely. It's a beautiful scale. Okay, we have team. That's better. All right, one last jam, one last little practice, and then I will have to get back to editing and mixing and exciting news. Whee! Myself and Rosie Bergonzi are releasing an album in a couple of weeks. We haven't told anybody yet. There you go. I'm telling you now. It's a live album from our trip to Australia, New Zealand, America. We were just on tour. We're continuing our tour next week in Pangonia, in Germany, where there is Pangonia Festival and Wild Naya Summer Academy, and then that concludes the tour. So we did like 2 months, and we've just had a few weeks off, then a couple more weeks, and then we're done. And then we're both doing individual things. Rosie's going to be at Pan Tribe. I'll be at Super Bloom in US. So we actually we documented everything that we did while we were touring, and I'm editing a big old movie right now. Tomorrow, no, what day is it today? Monday. On Wednesday, I will release the intro to that, and I'm going to be releasing a few little vlogs and clips throughout the coming weeks. If you saw last week's video, you've already seen the first one. That was the following the Everyone Can See Us, the song that we performed about homophobia. So we're releasing a whole like movie documentary thing about the tour, and also a live album. And the live album is actually coming out in a couple weeks. So that's super exciting. The first single from the album is coming out tomorrow. It's called Moomie's Theme because it was played on the Decurd 19, inspired very much by Moomie. So a lot of what I'm doing at the minute is just mixing, just sitting in here with my headphones on, mixing and editing in between teaching. So yeah, it's been pretty go. So please stick around and keep an eye out for those videos and for that album. I'm really excited about the album. It kind of takes you, like the first half is like super chill, lots of lovely handpan jams. There's a couple of live versions of a couple of the songs that already are on our EP. Our band name is Porta Banda, Portabanda. So there's a couple of live versions of songs that you might have already heard if you've been following our music. And then there's a couple of new compositions that have never been released before, but we're releasing them first as their live raw version. And then there's a few just jams with people that we met along the way. which I'm super excited about. So like brand new, like we'd like spend, you know, half an hour composing a little bit, but it's mostly improv. So there's a couple of jams with some other very special players, and then the album kind of progresses into song. So it's like half handpan music, half song, and then it steadily increases in energy. And yeah, it goes from being a lovely, chill album to especially the takes that I've used from the US show starts to get like rowdy audience sing along stuff. Yeah, it's super fun. I'm really excited to release it. So do keep an ear out. And it would be amazing to have your support when I announce the single tomorrow. If you could save it to your libraries and do all of that stuff. I'm going to try and make a Bandcamp page so that we can sell some copies as well. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. So yeah, I do need to be getting on with all that stuff. Before that though, what shall I play? Let's play the Curd. Why not? I've been trying to get out of my comfort zone with the D Curd a little bit. Step out of just playing in flat out D minor, playing some more interesting stuff. If you play with the low G here, you have a G Dorian, which is the La Sirena, which is super cool to play with.
Loud noises. Alrighty. Thanks for hanging out, guys. It's been lovely. I'm going to come back again tomorrow evening, a little bit later in the day. So if you want to hang out, practice handpan with me, prepare some questions, come jam. It'd be amazing to see you. Otherwise, yeah, thank you so much for those of you who've donated. I really appreciate it. If you would still like to, link is in the description to get Yolanda to the festivals, to make it happen. Yeah, cool, amazing, legends. Thanks, everybody. Just as I'm leaving, there's more people arriving. So it goes. So is the way of the world. All right, big love to you all. I'll see you again soon.